So George Santos has been expelled, and now he's threatening to file ethics complaints against his own colleagues. I mean, who's really shocked? We knew this wasn't going to end well for the Republican Party. This is what happens when you try to defend someone like George Santos, all because you want to keep on winning. Eventually, you reach a point where you can't defend it any longer. But George Santos, if I'm being dead honest with you, is one of the hardest stories that I've ever tried to follow, because he has lied about so much, he's been involved in so much, he's been accused of so much, that when one story breaks and you're trying to figure out how you would react to that and what you're going to say about it, another one breaks that's even more outlandish than the first one. I mean, this guy lied about being Jewish. He lied about his grandparents surviving the Holocaust. He lied about his mother dying at 9/11. What kind of person actually lies about things like that? I can understand a few little white lies here and there. I can understand someone exaggerating a fishing story. But you want to make up stories about the Holocaust, something as tragic as the Holocaust, something as tragic about 9/11, just to make yourself look better? That's as low as it gets. And this guy falsified reports on campaign spending. He illegally used those funds for personal expenses. He lied and embellished his resume and later admitted to that. And he's lied about everything from being a drag queen to being a volleyball star. And now he's finally being expelled. And what's he doing? Well, I'm going to oust the rest of you. I'm going to expose you for who you are. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Republican Party and how they got to this point. The Republican Party, when I was growing up, was always the party of pull yourself up by your bootstraps and make something better of yourself. They were the party of personal responsibility. They were the party of taking responsibility for your own actions. They were the morals and values party. Now, over the years, I began to see through their bullshit, and I realized that they were using these catchphrases and all of these things as stage props, but that still was what they ran on, and that's still what they said that they stood for. But over the years, it's become harder and harder to take them seriously when they will embrace and defend people like George Santos. And let's be realistic. They do this because they don't want to lose. The only problem with that is they're losing anyway. Because all the time that they were sitting there preaching morals and values and pull yourself up by your boots and personal responsibility and accountability, they had no new ideas. They had nothing new to bring to the table. And over time, people begin to see through this, like, hey, they can shout about morals and values all day, but if they don't have any new ideas, if they don't have anything to better our lives, what good are they? More people started seeing through that, and they started to lose. Now, you would think they would go back to the drawing board and try to figure out how to connect with the American people, but instead they double down, and instead they start coming up with laws and start passing laws that takes away rights from women, rights from the gay and trans community. They start going after people's personal rights, and suddenly they still can't figure out why it is they're losing, and yet they will hang on and try to defend someone like George Santos until they can't anymore. And they wonder why they keep on losing. They allowed Donald Trump to become the front runner for their party not once but twice. And they continue to sit and defend him no matter what he does. They're also the party of the Constitution. They're also the party that says they're constitutionalists and they're patriots. And now he's saying he doesn't have to support it, and they're falling in line with it. And they wonder why we don't take them seriously. They wonder why they keep on losing. That's why no one takes you seriously. And that's why you're going to continue to lose. Because at the end of the day, when people goes to vote, they're looking at the situation and they look over at the Democratic Party and they realize, the Democrats ain't perfect. The Democrats don't always have the best of ideas, but at least they have a few ideas, and at least the Democrats are way more apt to hold their own side responsible. And I know what some people's going to say when they hear me say that. Yeah, but what about Hunter Biden? What about Joe Biden and all the evidence? Well, you have to actually be able to present that evidence. And when you present what you call evidence, it has to be true. It has to be real. And I've said this till I'm blue in the face, but the day that all the proof that you say you have, all the mountains of evidence you say you have, the day that that proof and evidence that you say you have can be proven to be 100% true, I will say, punish Joe and Hunter Biden to the fullest extent of the law. They are not above the law. So when you say, what about the Bidens? What about the Clintons? What about the Obamas? It's not the flex you think it is with people like us, because we hold our own accountable. And someone like George Santos would not have lasted 5 minutes in the Democratic Party. And Donald Trump would not have ever ran as a Democrat because he would not have made it in the Democratic Party. These people only make it in the Republican Party. And what does it say to other people? What does it say to other aspiring politicians? Well, hey, if I side with these people over here, I'm going to get held accountable. If I side with these people over here, they're going to make me take responsibility. They're not going to let me get away with my bullshit. So if I want to get away with bullshit, I guess I got to go over here because, hey, look how long George Santos got away with it. Look how much Donald Trump's got away with. And again, why would they expect us to ever take them seriously when they lay their hand on a Bible, when they don't even live the words that Jesus taught? Jesus warned people about the prophets, the false prophets in the last days who would come along and who would say they were like Christ, but inside they were wolves. They were wolves in sheep's clothing. If you actually believe the Bible to be true, that's what your own book says about it. But, George Santos is now going to turn on his fellow colleagues, and here's the kicker, and here's what they know. They know that Donald Trump will do the same thing. That's why they're sitting there trying their best to hold on for dear life, and they're just hoping something happens to him so they can fall behind the next MAGA Republican and try to ride that coattail, because they know, like, if they turned on Donald Trump, he would come down harder than George Santos ever dreamed. And that's why they will continue to back him too. And so the Republican Party that we all grew up with, it's long gone, folks. It's no longer there. And it's sad. In the words of Donald Trump, it's sad.